Good morning everyone. Today we are going to start with a new chapter, that is evolution. So what do you mean by evolution? So evolution is the change in the heritable characteristics of the biological population over several generations. It is called as evolution, or it is also stated that the gradual development of something is called as evolution, or it is also stated as the descent with modification, right? So the study or the branch of biology which is going to study the history of the life forms on the earth is called as the evolutionary biology. So in this chapter of evolution, we are going to study regarding the origin of life and evolution of life forms, that is the biodiversity on the planet Earth, along with the context with the evolution of Earth and the evolution of universe. So firstly, let us start with the origin of life. So this origin of life is a very unique event which is going to take place in the history of the universe. So it is one of the unique event in the history of universe, and our universe is very old, as so our universe is 20 billion years old, right? And the origin of universe is origin of everything, as every matter, everything which is present, so that is present in the universe. So the origin of universe is nothing but the origin of everything. So there are many scientific theories and many myths around the world, so that have been trying to explain regarding the genesis of the universe. That is a mysterious genesis, means how the universe has been originated. So that is, there are many theories and many myths are there, but still the most accomplished and the most established explanation which is accepted is the Big Bang theory. So it is the Big Bang theory. So the Big Bang theory is also called as the expanding universe hypothesis. So why it is called as the expanding universe hypothesis? Means our universe is still getting expanded, and the first person to provide the proof, the experimental proof for this is the person called as Edwin Hubble in the year 1920. So he was the first person to provide the proof for the expanding universe. So that hence the Big Bang theory is also called as the expanding universe hypothesis. So what does this Big Bang theory is going to state? Means the Big Bang theory states that the whole universe was a hot and a infinite dense point. So infinitely it was a dense point, and once what happens is this hot ball or a dense point got exploded. Means there was a huge explosion, so which was unimaginable in terms of the physical, in physical terms. It was unimaginable in the physical terms. So this explosion, what it resulted into means the universe was splitted and it was expanded. So due to the expansion of the universe, literally the temperature started cooling down. So this cooling down of the temperature, it led to the formation of the atoms such as the hydrogen and the helium. So this hydrogen and helium, so they got condensed under the gravitational force and they were converted into the galaxies. Means they started forming the galaxies of our present day universe, right? So presently there are more than 100 billion galaxies in our universe. Among them, ours is the Milky Way galaxy. So in the solar system of our Milky Way galaxy, our Earth was formed 4.5 billion years ago. So the Earth was formed 4.5 billion years ago. So when the Earth was formed, means the early Earth, there was no atmosphere on the early Earth, and the molten surface, it was covered only with the methane, ammonia, water vapor and the carbon dioxide. So during that time there was a radiation era, so there was heavy radiation. So these UV radiations, they splitted the water molecule into the hydrogen as well as the oxygen molecule, and the lighter hydrogen molecules, they started escaping. So then what happened means the oxygen molecule, so which was released by the splitting of the water molecule, so that combined with the ammonia as well as the methane. So the combination of the oxygen with the ammonia and methane, so it gave rise to the water as well as the carbon dioxide molecules and also the other different atoms. So then what happened is there was the formation of the ozone layer. So the three oxygen molecules got together and there was the formation of the ozone. So this ozone led to the formation of the ozone layer. So then what happens is there was a day by day there was a cooling of the temperature and the atoms got condensed and this water vapor, so now it turned into a rain and it started falling out. So many thousands of years of falling of rain, so it started filling up the pits or the depressions leading to the formation of the oceans. And this is how the life started from the water, and that is the origin of the universe and the origin of the earth. So the first life was started from the water, and the life on the earth was formed 4 billion years ago. Means the earth was formed 4.5 billion years ago, but the life on the earth was formed only 4 billion years ago. That is, after the 500 billion years of the earth formation, then the life was originated on the earth. So this is how the universe was formed. That is the theory which is going to explain the origin of universe is the Big Bang theory. So once the universe was formed, so there are a large number of galaxies were formed. So in that galaxy, our galaxy is a Milky Way galaxy. In the solar system of a Milky Way galaxy, so we live on a planet which is called as the Earth, and this Earth was formed 4.5 billion years ago, right? And the life on the Earth was formed only 4 billion years ago. So this is regarding the origin of the universe and the origin of the Earth. So now let us discuss the theories so that are related to the origin of life. So there are 4 important theories which are going to explain how the life originated. So let us study them one by one. So coming to the first theory, that is theory of panspermia. So sperm is related to a seed or a spore. So what is this theory of panspermia is going to tell us next? So the early Greek thinkers, what they thought is that, so these spores or the seeds, so which are the one responsible for the initiation of the life. So these spores were transferred to the various planets, including the Earth. So there are also other planets except the Earth, right? So these spores were transferred to the other planets along with the Earth, and these spores, when they reached the like suitable environment, so they started their initiating the life. So this is the theory. According to the theory of panspermia, the life was started. The unit of life called as spores. So these spores were transferred to the different planets, including the Earth, from the outer space. Means these spores were introduced into the planets from the outer space, and these spores, on getting the suitable environment, they initiated the life. Right? So coming to the second theory, that is theory of spontaneous generation. So what is this theory of spontaneous generation? Means the theory of spontaneous generation state that the life came out from the rotten and the decaying matter such as the mud, straw, etc. Means the spontaneous started one after the other. So the life started coming out from the rotten things and from the decaying things such as the mud, straw, sand, etc. So this was not accepted, and this theory was disproved by the person called as Louis Pasteur through his theory, which is called as the theory of biogenesis. So here the bio is life, genesis means formation, right? So this theory of biogenesis was given by Louis Pasteur. So according to him, the life can exist only from the pre-existing life, and with this theory he disproved the theory of spontaneous generation. So in which they stated that the life is going to come from the non-living or spontaneous things such as the decaying and the rotten things like mud, straw, sand, etc. So he has given the experimental proof, or he has demonstrated with the help of an experiment. So in his experiment he has taken a 2 flasks, one flask which is sterilized and the other flask which is not sterilized. So in both the flasks he has placed the 2, that is a dead yeast in each, means one in each of the flasks. So later the sterilized flask was covered with a muslin cloth, whereas the one more flask which was not sterilized, so it was not covered and it was let open into the air. So whereas no such organisms or new organisms were not found in the flask which was covered with a muslin cloth. So hence we proved that the life is going to exist only from the pre-existing life, and this theory has completely disproved the theory of spontaneous generation. So coming to the last theory, that is theory of chemical evolution, or it is also called as a theory of abiogenesis, means the life comes from the non-living thing. So this theory of chemical evolution was given by two persons, one is Operin and the other is Helen. So Operin and Helen are the two scientists who have given the theory of chemical evolution. So what they proposed is that they proposed the first life form existed from the pre-existing non-living organic molecules, and these organic molecules were formed from the non-living inorganic constituents. Means the life has come from the organic molecules. So these organic molecules gave rise to the life. Then these organic molecules were formed by the inorganic constituents. Right? So the conversion of the inorganic constituents into the organic molecules is stated as the chemical evolution, and these organic molecules, so later they were converted into the life forms. So these are the four things or four theories which are usually referred for the explanation of the origin of life. So the first one is the theory of panspermia, so it was not accepted by the most of the people. Theory of spontaneous generation, it was disproved by the Louis Pasteur. Then coming to the theory of biogenesis, so yes, it was little bit accepted, but it was not having that kind of stable experimental proof to prove that the life comes only from the pre-existing life. And lastly, the theory of chemical evolution, it is most widely accepted theory presently, and it was given by Operin and Helen. So according to them, the life has been existed from the pre-existing organic molecules. So these organic molecules were formed by the inorganic constituents. So the inorganic constituents converted into organic molecules, and these organic molecules gave rise to the life forms. So this is nothing but the chemical evolution. So that's why it is called as the theory of chemical evolution. And this theory of chemical evolution has got the experimental proof which was provided by the Stanley Miller. So now let us study regarding the Stanley Miller's experiment, which is very important for the exam purpose as well. Okay, as we have said that Stanley Miller was the person who has provided the experimental proof for the theory of chemical evolution. So Stanley Miller as well as the Urey, but usually we will call this experiment as a Miller's experiment. So this what did Miller do is he has created the conditions. He has created the conditions of the early atmosphere or the early earth, so which were having a high lightning, volcanic storms, as well as the reducing atmosphere with the methane and the ammonia and etc. So he created the same setup in the laboratory scale. So which are the important apparatus of the Miller's experiments are, the first is a spark chamber, so which consists of two electrodes. So these electrodes, they are going to substitute the lightning effect which were present in the early earth. So then coming to the next one, there is a condenser. So condenser means usually it is used to cool down, right? So then comes the U-shaped trap, then the flask, boiling flask which is going to boil the water. So then there is a vacuum pump. So this pump is usually used to remove all the gas molecules, right? So this is an experimental setup which was done by Stanley Miller in the year 1953. So what he did is, first he has taken the gases which were present during the early earth, that is the methane, ammonia, water, as well as the hydrogen. Water means in the form of vapor. So these are the gases which were present in the early earth, and here he has placed the two electrodes which are going to create a spark discharge, right? So these gases are passed on to the condenser so that the vapors, they are getting converted into the liquid form, right? So here one there are two outlets. So one is where the water is coming out, and one where there is the water is getting inside. So this is how the condenser is going to work. So the water which is collected from the condenser, so that water droplets, they are getting trapped inside this U-shaped trap. So again this water is transferred into the boiling flask where the water gets boiled and is getting converted into vapor. Again these are transformed into the spark chamber, and from this again they are transferred into condenser and again into the U-shaped trap. So these things were repeated for several days. Means that for 7 days he kept on running the same things, and after the 7 days what he observed is that whatever the water he has took from this trap, what he observed is that he has got the organic molecules, that is the amino acid. And later on many scientists have done the same experiment and they have got the different results, such as some have got the sugar and some of them got the pigments and some of them have got the protein, etc. So various different organic molecules they have got. But the thing is that this inorganic molecules, so due to the volcanic storms or the lightning effect or the reducing atmosphere, they are converted into the organic molecules, right? So this is how the inorganic molecules get converted into the organic molecules, and from the organic molecules there is a existing of the or initiating of the life. So this is the Stengel-Miller's experiment, right? So with this experiment it was like 70% or most of them have started accepting the theory, that is theory of the chemical evolution. So we really don't know when it means how did the non-cellular life forms have started. So probably they might have started 300 billion years ago. Means the non-cellular life forms might have been started 300 billion years ago. It might be probably a long chain of polysaccharides, RNA, or it might be of a protein. But then the non-cellular life forms have converted into the cellular life forms. Even we don't have any proof or evidence that how the non-cellular life forms have got converted into the cellular life forms. So these cellular life forms have been probably started or initiated only 200 million years ago, right? A non-cellular life forms, they have started from 300 billion years ago, whereas the cellular life forms have been initiated only 200 million years ago. So once we are having these cellular life forms, so how these cellular life forms have evolved into a complicated biodiversity, so that is a very fascinating story. So that we are going to discuss from the next class. That is in the next class we will be discussing how these cellular life forms have got complicated and they have converted into a biodiversity of the present day. So that's all for the today's class.